Okay, so today, and I welcome all of you, we'll be analyzing business ideas. I mean, how do you go about figuring out whether this is a good idea or not? So, if you had to evaluate an idea for a t-shirt business, or you decide that you're going to go and sell cakes, whatever it might be that you want to go and sell, how would any of you evaluate ideas? And so go ahead and raise your hand or just speak up. Anybody have any idea about how you would evaluate an idea that you have? No, no one has any idea about how they would go about doing it. Okay. All right. So we'll just jump into it and talk about all the different things that you could possibly do to evaluate your idea to see if, in fact, it makes any sense at all for you to offer that idea up and try to um, get it started. That you might be able to make some good part-time money, or it could lead to something really big that you decide, you know what? I'm gonna maybe even focus all of my attention for at least the next year or 2 years on developing this idea. So here are the key factors to evaluating idea. Is there demand for what you're actually doing? And is there competition out there that's already doing it? So if you decided that you were going to start a dog walking business in your neighborhood, how many dog walkers are there out there? And are there enough dogs that not all the dog walkers could even handle them? Or is it something different that you're offering to do? Do you have a skill set that would allow you to be better than other people doing whatever you're going to be offering up? And how much is it actually going to cost you to go and start this? Because if you decided that you were going to go and sell hamburgers and you want to open up your own store, how much would it cost to go and open up that store? And would it be more expensive than you could possibly afford yourself, or borrow from your parents, or borrow from friends and family? And does that make economic sense? And what's the profitability potential? Because if in fact you can't, after all your expenses, including paying yourself, that you can't make at least 20% money, it may not make any sense to you to go about doing this. Some of you may even have nonprofit ideas, and your idea would be to go and help other people, and that's perfectly noble. But at the end of the day, there has to be enough money coming in that supports your nonprofit so it can continue on. And you have to ask questions. Who is the actual customer, and what is unique about this idea? Now, some ideas, there's nothing unique about them. Dog walking, baking baked goods, uh, selling some kind of food, lots of things, they're not really unique, but there might be a need for that in your community. There might be a twist that you're doing to it that makes it unique and that people want to buy from you. You might have certain contacts that are going to be good for you that help with that particular business. So what we're most focused with is, how is there really a demand for what you're going to do, and that you can go and sell this idea? So how do you identify sources for information? First of all, there are general sources like online research that you can go and do. Now, I myself use ChatGPT and a program developed by two students from vinuniversity called MindPal. MindPal is my go-to. And with MyPal, I can go and type in different research, different things that I want to research, and I'll get that information instantly. I also go and look for online reports about whatever I'm doing to see if there's anything there. I even look at local business directories to see if there are more than just myself that's offering this, or if I'm working for a client, find out how many direct competitors they have within a certain mile radius, if they're catering to a region that they're living in, or to a neighborhood. any of those things. I'll take a look and see who else is doing something like that. Sometimes we don't even know ourselves what's in our own community. And if we can go online and type in, oh, what's the nearest dry cleaner? What's the nearest Mexican restaurant? Who in the neighborhood fixes laptop computers? Whatever it is, we can go and type that in and see who the nearest is, or go to an online business directory. We can go and look at surveys that have been done or conduct our own survey. If we're thinking about offering a babysitting service, then we could go and survey the people in our condo building or in the neighborhood and ask them, do you need a babysitting service? And what are you willing to pay for that? So there might be an opportunity there. If you were starting a English language tutoring business, or you're going to teach people how to play guitar, you can go and put in the coffee shop a survey, a link saying, we're looking for people who might want to go and take English language learning lessons, or we're looking for people who might want to learn how to play the guitar. Or you can just put it out on your Facebook page and ask people to click on this and find out if there's really a need. So surveys are very helpful. And you can go to school or community resources. And there are examples for where you can find information. There's Google Trends, there's social media, there's community forums that you can type in. You can join industry groups. For the fact that I work with lots of entrepreneurs in the United States, and I'm helping market those entrepreneurs to investors, and I'm also marketing to entrepreneurs to help them develop their business plans, financial models. I have joined over 53 different forums on LinkedIn and Facebook, and let them know that I'm available to help people write investor presentations, business plans, develop financial models. I've had students at different schools I taught at to get involved with different community forums, letting them know that they're available to help with social media, to help with market research. And when people see that they're on there and they're in need of that service, they contact them. But it's also a way to see, is there a big enough market? Would enough people contact me to use my service or product, whatever I'm offering? So using free and accessible tools. There are tools like Google Form for doing surveys. You can go to YouTube for tutorials about how to go and collect information to find out if, in fact, your idea makes sense. There are websites like Etsy for product ideas. If you have a new product idea, you can type it into Amazon and see if anybody has created that product or service. If you go on to Etsy and you have a consumer product, you can type into Etsy and see if anybody has that on there. You can also go onto MindPal and say, list all of the businesses that do this service in Hanoi, Vietnam. So you can do any of those things to go and find that information. And I encourage students to leverage school resources such as teachers' guidance or career counselors, because they could go and give you some insights as well if, in fact, you're trying to offer things to different schools. So you have to define your subject about what you're doing and research local demand. So that's your first step, is defining what you're doing, research local demand, analyze and find out if there are any competitors, and consider what would you charge to go and offer this particular product or service that you're going out there. And there's sources like school notices that are sent out electronically to everybody in the community. And there are local community centers that you can go and post things on the bulletin board, both the physical and electronic bulletin board. You can look for online tutoring sites to find out what people are pricing. When I came here to Vietnam and I was looking to do some consulting on the side, I basically went and typed in consultants in Vietnam, and I went and contacted folks that I thought I would not compete against and asked them, what could I charge for my service? What are people willing to pay in Vietnam for this type of service. And people were able to tell me. If in fact you're worried about talking to a competitor, you can go outside of your area, but still in the same geographic area and contact them and ask them, what do they charge? Or you can go online and check on their website or their Facebook page. There's a variety of ways to go and find out what people are charging. I started a company called Expert Speakers, and I marketed business professionals to speakers and organizations that were looking to use speakers. And one of my competitors actually joined my service, and I recognized the name. And eventually, that actual competitor bought my business. He was in Texas. I was in Philadelphia. I covered national. He also was a national organization, but I had higher end clients than he did, and he wanted those, and he made us a good offer, and we ended up selling the company. So information for a tutoring business, if you're looking that up, there are online platforms like Chegg, Khan Academy, and there are also trending subjects that you can go and look up. You can ask friends or family about needs for specific subjects and levels of tutoring that you need to provide, and what are the preferences for people in terms of asking for the types of tutoring you're looking for, because you might find that there's a huge need for one from first grade to fifth grade, because the parents want them to be very good at English, but probably even a greater need for a math tutoring between 9th and 12th grade as kids are getting ready for the college boards. And you might also find in the middle school both English and math needs, because everybody wants to improve their IELTS scores and become better at that. So there are lots of places that you can get information for tutoring along with the online platforms. You can go and type it into search, find out who else is doing it. You can also pretend that you're looking for a tutoring service to get an idea of what people are pricing the tutoring at. Sometimes opportunity ends up knocking by the fact that you've contacted someone you see as a competitor, and they tell you that they're looking for more tutors and you could join them and make money without having to market yourself. So you have different options. So if you're evaluating mobile game business, and now it's not so hard to make a mobile game. There are plenty of services out there that will allow laymen who do not know how to program to create their own mobile games. I even saw one this past Friday, and the name escapes me, but you can take a picture of yourself and it will doing something like playing ping pong or running, and will create a game around your movement. And this company has already raised $25 million US for this. And some of the most well-known entrepreneurs in the world have invested in this company. And you don't have to do any of the programming. They give you different templates, and all you do is load in picture of yourself, your dog, or whatever you're looking to do, and that comes out. So if you're evaluating a mobile game business, the steps you would take would be you'd brainstorm the game concept and say, what kind of games would I actually want to start? What games would resonate with my friends? How long does the game have to last? How sophisticated does the graphics have to be? So then you analyze popular games. I actually looked into this because a friend of mine owns a game company, and she said, if you come up with some good ideas, bring them by us, and maybe we could partner with you and you can have some of the revenue split. And so I came up with a game idea that they're considering based on the historical heritage of Vietnam, and being able to go visit these different sites and play games within them and get points for them. And so that was an idea of mine, is be able to educate people about Vietnam's historical sites, which would be good for both people who are visiting Vietnam to learn about Vietnam, but even for people who live in the country to learn about it. And then you can research monetization strategies. How do people actually make money in mobile games. Some of it is just selling the game. This friend of mine, the games go for less than $1 and people buy them, and they have something like 30,000 different games they've developed. It's a very large number of games because they have 300 employees. And so, is it that? Do you sell sponsorship? Do you sell to buy tools on it? All the things that all of you who are listening have done when you've played games. Now you're looking for all the different monetization strategies on how you can optimally make money off of this. And the sources to find this information are app stores for popular games, so you can study the other games. You can also type into MindPal, give me the top 10 ways that game companies, or all the ways that game companies make revenue. You can go on gaming forums and hear what people are doing, even the newest things. I saw a high school kid that was designing avatars for metaverse games, and he was at a conference in New York City, and he developed a physical avatar that you could buy and put on your shelf, and of course the electronic version. What amazed me was that his father told me, and I went to his booth and they were piled 7 wide, 7 deep buying this. And his father said that after 1 week at this conference that we were at, he sold $75,000 worth of the actual physical avatar that you could put on your shelf. The father said that during the course of a year, his son made over $750,000, that the father was able to quit his job and work full-time just supporting the son's business. You can go on YouTube for tutorials, and there's basically a tutorial for everything that's out there. Information sources from mobile game business, platforms like App Annie for mobile game trends. You can go to YouTube for coding tutorials. You can go to game developer communities like Reddit and Unity forums, so you can go and learn how to develop them if you like, if you don't want to use existing platforms that allow you to go and build these games yourself without having any programming experience. Some of you would enjoy designing your own games and building them from scratch. It's intellectually challenging. It's also a good story to tell universities when you're applying to them that you actually developed your own game, marketed it, and even if the results weren't what you hoped for, I can tell you from being a faculty member who interviews applicants at vinuniversity, starting something entrepreneurial and learning life's lessons from it is very powerful. And if you have good grades, you don't have to have the best grades, but if you have good grades and you're entrepreneurial and you're have ambition, that's what schools like vinuniversity are looking for, because we want people, we want students who want to change Vietnam and change the world and create opportunity, so we don't see that 70% brain drain that you might read about in the newspaper that the government worries about. So these things are important to all of us. So evaluating a baking business. If you were going to go and start a baking business, you would identify what kind of products would I go and bake? What would be of interest to people that I'm targeting? Because if you're targeting Westerners, it's got to be really sweet. Because I can tell you that I am not a fan, as a Westerner, of Vietnam baked goods because there's not much sugar in them. And you all don't like things that are too sweet. But Westerners like things ultra sweet. And so I would suggest to you that you have to think about who exactly is going to be buying your baked goods. So if you're selling to Vietnamese, you wouldn't want too much sugar in it. If in fact you're selling to people in your community, you have to decide what types of things do they like. Like chocolate chip cookies is not something I rarely ever see here in Vietnam, but chocolate chip cookies in the United States are the #1 seller of types of cookies. Cupcakes are really sell a lot. In fact, in the States, there are cupcake stores that sell cupcakes for roughly, I guess it would be 200,000 to 300,000 dong for a one cupcake. So people will buy them. They won't spend that kind of money here, because that's almost like almost like half a cake for that kind of money. But you have to identify what's the products, and then you have to research the cost. What's the cost to go and buy the eggs, buy the oil, buy all the ingredients that you're going to need? Because I have worked with people who do baking, and they look at the market, what things are selling for, and they try to go and offer at similar prices. But I said, is that really enough for what the cost of doing it is? Because you have to factor in your time, the time it takes to go to the supermarket and buy all the ingredients, time it takes to come back from the supermarket, and the time it takes to actually make it, and the cost of putting it in a box or a container of some type. So all of those costs have to be researched. Then you have to understand local health guidelines and make sure that you're in compliance with uh, local health laws and standards. So you have to understand that. And here are some sources that you might go to. You'll go to social media to find out what the trends are in baked goods. You might go and do a survey with friends and family about what types of things that they would love to see you make. A friend of mine I was at dinner with last night, she made this amazing cheesecake for my girlfriend and I. And she also made a delicious banana cake with Western style icing that we just wanted to take the rest of the cake home with us because it was that good. So you have to take a look at what you think is going to be popular, what is popular now, what people are going to like, what they need for different occasions, birthdays, anniversaries. Somebody wins an award. One of my students, when I won the Teaching and Excellence Award last year, brought a whole flat cake, enough for all of my colleagues to go and share. So there are different times that cakes are needed. And of course, you can go and create themes around your cake. Here's a cake for if you had a really rough week. Here is a dessert that you would enjoy that will wash that bad week away. And so you can go online to find your ingredient prices. Because when I do plans for people who are in the food business, I just go online and take a look at what different things cost. And then, of course, I figure out how much each part of the recipe requires in measuring and figure out almost exactly to the dung how much it actually is going to cost to go and make this product. And then, of course, along with understanding the health guidelines, you need to go and contact the local regulatory agencies to find out what you can sell, what has to be on the ingredients label, and what things that we have to avoid. And of course, people have different allergies, so you want to make sure that you mark your products and let people know about all the ingredients that are in there. So if they have a peanut allergy, you certainly don't want to make somebody sick or potentially die from your product. So let me stop there for a minute before I go into some of the other services. Does anyone have any questions for me so far? You can either type them into chat or you can raise your hand and I'm glad to go and answer them for you. Anybody at all with any questions? And of course, you can save them to the end and we'll take time to answer any question that you might have. Okay. So there are different sources for baking. You can follow local bakers on bakeries on Instagram or Facebook to understand trends that they're focused on. You can go on online food marketplaces like Etsy and YouTube for pricing and recipe ideas. If you were starting a t-shirt business, and I've had a lot of students start t-shirt businesses, I have had students who design them. I've had students who have run contests and see what people are looking for. So your first step is identifying popular themes or designs. One of the things that's amazed me in Vietnam, or actually throughout Asia, the most popular symbol, by far more popular than the symbols of their individual countries, is the NY, the New York Yankees sign. That symbol of the New York Yankees can literally be found on jewelry, sports jackets, sweatshirts, underwear, bags that women carry, gym bags, sneakers, belts, pants, shirts, hats, everything carries that New York Yankees symbol. And I've literally been to Cambodia, Laos, Indonesia, Malaysia, Thailand, Singapore, and every country I've been to, Sri Lanka, I see the New York Yankees symbol. So if you're starting a t-shirt business, you can identify popular themes or designs. You can research printing options. How much does it actually cost to go and print a t-shirt? What's the quality of the t-shirts that you're going to be putting your print on? So because thin t-shirts that are very lightweight, that the material is, it's okay, it's not going to last over time, that might allow you to sell the t-shirts for less and have fatter margins. But if you're looking for your t-shirts to be around for a long time, then you're going to go to a higher quality shirt. You're going to explore distribution channels. Like, are you going to go and sell on Shopee? Are you going to have your own Facebook page? Are you going to develop a website? Are you going to join platforms like Etsy? Where are you going to actually distribute it? And no matter where you put it, you still have to be able to market it yourself so people know that you exist. So sources like custom t-shirt sites like Printful and Teespring, you can find cost and folks that can help you actually design things, or you get inspiration from looking at how things were designed there. There was a company from Boston, and this is about 15 years ago, that they only printed t-shirts that people wanted to buy. You say, how do you even know that? So they would run contests for the best t-shirt design. And it's almost like these contests that you see on TV where they bring in singers and different acts, and people vote on those acts. Well, I forget what the name of the show was, but you had it here in Vietnam, I guess, some Vietnam Voice, where singers get on. They can build instant stars by having people vote on them. And once they see that someone is popular, then they can go and launch that career and gain great credibility and help that singer become successful. In the t-shirt business, you can show different designs and ask for pre-orders. And if you find that there's a lot of pre-orders, then you can make the shirt. Michael Dell had done the same thing with computers. Unlike Hewlett Packard, IBM, Lenovo, and others who went and designed computers, manufactured them, and then sent them for distribution to different chains, Michael Dell's computers were designed by the buyer. And Michael Dell only sold computers that people bought in advance, that they designed it, they picked all the parts, and at the end, they ran their credit card, and then Dell would create the computer and have it shipped. So everything was, for the most part, semi-customized. And that worked out great for Dell, made him a very rich guy and made him one of the most well-known names in entrepreneurship in the world. And he'd lose any money on any computer. Over time, for him to get to the next level, he decided that they would take research from finding what the most computers that were designed were going for in through their system and made those computers and sold them to chains in advance so they could reach a larger audience. Information for sources for t-shirt business, trend analysis on Instagram or TikTok for current styles. You can use websites like Canva and design ideas for market research on pricing. Here's evaluating collectibles business. Now, I know a lot of young people collect sneakers, they collect avatars, they collect pins. There's all types of things that people love to go and collect. So the steps are identify what's valuable. What are people willing to uh, trade for? So one of my students at St. Joe's University bought and sold collectible sneakers. So one of a kind sneakers are ones that were made with a limited run. He would go and buy those sneakers and then sell them online. And he told me, I was surprised about this. He told me that he was making US money, $2,000 a month buying and selling sneakers. And he said, you can't just sell regular sneakers that go for just the average price that everybody buys them for. You were looking for unique designs, that there were designers out there making limited run sneakers. And that's what people sold. And there are people all over the world who buy sneakers and never wear them and just display them on a shelf. So you can buy these collectibles where people were collecting all of the Harry Potter collectibles that were out there. And you can go and get items and learn what the market demand is and see if people are looking to buy them. Research sales and channels like eBay and local events that you can go and sell at. There are people who collect pins from all over the world. There are people who collect pins and paraphernalia from political campaigns or from sports teams or successful sports stars. And the sources for this to find out what the pricing would be are eBay, Facebook Marketplace, hobby forums to assess item value and demand. I had a baseball card collection and I sold it and I thought it'd be worth a lot more money, but it turns out that baseball card collectors will only pay top dollar for baseball cards that are in perfect mint condition, means that they don't have the slightest bend or any cut any kind of mark on them, then they will pay top dollar. But if not, it can depreciate what you thought was something of value. It can depreciate it, meaning it's worth a lot less by 80, 90%. So you thought you had this really cool thing that could be sell for a lot, and then you find that's not the case. One of the things I also collect are domain names. I have over 150 domain names, and it turns out that my domain name collection, according to GoDaddy, is worth in the six figures. So I know that those domain names over time will only increase in value because there'll be less and less good domain names that you can buy. Information sources for collectibles, pricing sites like eBay, TCG Player for different types of cards like Pokemon cards. There are collector communities that you can join and ask them by showing a picture of what you have or just asking them, what does this go for? How much could I sell this for? What's the demand? For in the United States, we have a game called baseball. And for a period of time in the 1980s, baseball cards were going for an exorbitant amount of money. Well, they were doing so well that people started new card companies. And once they started the new baseball card companies, that devalued the entire system. And the cards stopped being successful collectible items. And it took about 25 years until they bounced back. And now, again, they're in vogue because there are very few card manufacturers out there. And of course, one of the things that's becoming also popular are NFTs, non-fungible tokens, where you can buy limited electronic pictures for a period of time, and you'll see if they create value. What ideas do you have and you would like to evaluate them? So I would like to ask all of you to tell me about any ideas that you have that we could talk about and how you might go and investigate those ideas. So if you have an idea, raise your hand, tell us what the idea is, and I'm glad to help you. Okay, please go ahead.
So I currently have an idea to create a DIY kit that combine like materials and like, detailed instruction like platform, and they offer like stress relief and self-expression and quality with loved one. So, in order to evaluate my ideas, thanks to your very insightful information. So I have learned that I have to identify the market that I want to get in and to find about the demand and what do people really want and do they really want my products or not. And also I have to, find my target audience, and which I find really hard because, I'm currently a high school student. I do not know really how to conduct a surveys, how to get a large number of people to, participate in my survey. So next, I think the next step that I need to evaluate my business idea is to know what is my cost, and also like, know my cost, and then I could, got some price strategy to identify my business ideas. So do you think it is a great way to do that?
So, again, your idea is a kit that allows people to do something creative. Is that what I understand?
Yeah.
And is it like an art kit? Because I have clients that do art kits in the United States. So is it an art kit?
Yeah, it is an art kit that inspired by Vietnamese culture.
Okay, very cool. I think it's a cool idea. So one of the things that you can do is interview parents and say, is this something you would like to give your child so that when they are bored, that they have this activity? Or is this something you would consider offering up at a birthday party to have something fun for the kids to go and do? Or you might go to retirement homes and find out that this would be a great product to sell people who are retired to give them something to do. And you might come up with different themes, or you might say to them, this would be the perfect gift to give once you've developed it for birthday or for an anniversary gift. Because when you make something personal, even if it's ugly, people keep it because it's the work that went into it that people want to have. So you would go and say to yourself, how many different ways, how many different types of ways could this new product be sold to consumers, and what age groups should I do it? Because if you decided to do it for elementary school kids, you have to be careful, right, about what the contents are so somebody doesn't get hurt. And what's the level of sophistication that somebody has that can go and do whatever your artwork is. So you have to take a look at what the target market is you're selling to, and and maybe you'd have different target markets. Maybe you'd offer three different types of boxes in there. And you should go and find out, what do all of these products cost to put together. So I have a friend, a client in the States that actually has something similar in idea. And there's wood, there's nails, and there's string. And they're given, either they can come up with their own, create their own artwork, or they can choose one of 30 different patterns and follow the pattern to create their artwork. So you have to decide what's going to be in the box, how much would it cost to put it in the box, how much would it cost to design the box, and what size box that you need. And is it a box that could easily be mailed, that, the grab bike guy can or woman can drop it off? Or is it something you would go in the toy stores and offer that up and have a partnership with them where they put it on the shelf and you have a share of the profits of it? So there are different ways that you could go about doing it. But I would start off with thinking about, who do I really want to sell this to? Because you might decide, I want to just sell it to retirees because I know my grandmother and grandfather, they're bored. They just watch a lot of TV. But I know both, or one of them would love to do it. Or you can also create contests around it and sell it through that. So there are different things. You need to go and research it, find out what area you want to go into, and create a cool design on the box, because the cover of the box really drives people to go and decide. It's just like they used to have a saying, well, the saying still exists. You can never judge a book by its cover. And that goes two ways. The cover could be like amazing looking and the content is not interesting, or the design of the book is ah basic and doesn't attract you to go and pick the book off the shelf, and you've missed something of good quality. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, thank you very much. I have, yeah, really much insightful information. Thank you. I would really want to carry it out soon. Thank you.
Awesome. Who else has a question for me? And I'd love to hear any idea that you might are be thinking about. And I can, okay, go ahead, Lynn.
Um, Hi, Professor. I am currently launching a handmade bouquet, and I just want to expand it to my friends, and a lot more people want to create a beautiful, you know, flower bouquet by themselves. So I am really, a bit worried about how can I engage with them more closely, and how can I interact with them, and
So
know that.
I'm sorry. So you want to tell me again what the you want to offer something and you want to see about partnering with other people?
Yes.
Okay. So tell me again what you're offering.
Well, I am creating a handmade bouquet, and I have been made it from papers, and we folded from our store paper, and we form it to a bouquet of like this one. It's hard to see, but uh here like
Okay.
this. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, okay. So it holds something inside.
Yeah, it is like a flower one, but it's not a flower. It is like a store paper one.
Oh, so you take paper and you can make uh different art objects almost. Is that
Yeah.
my understanding? Oh, how
Yes.
cool.
Yeah.
And so you can give them as gifts to people, especially guys who want to impress a girl. Um, and giving her something like that would be very thoughtful, something they could put in the room, keep on their desk. I like this idea.
Yeah.
So how could you could do a couple of different things here. One is you can make them and of course sell them online and tell people reasons you would buy them. So somebody is sick, you would buy it for someone sick. It lasts longer than flowers. If you want to impress your date, you can buy that, and at any age they can buy that thing. Because I know my girlfriend, if I showed her that, she would say, "Oh, that's so pretty, and it doesn't die. I can keep it forever." Right?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
you can actually teach people online and create a platform that people
Mm.
could sell them online. So you tell them, I run classes, you pay and join the class. You, after the class, and you show us your capability, then you can go and make them. We'll put you on our platform and we'll take 10 or 20% of the price. So we'll do the credit card transaction, everything, or the bank transaction. And so you'll
Yeah.
teach them how to do it. You'll market the platform. You'll sell their product. They will also market the platform, and everybody can make money. And you might be helping other high school kids around the country create their own revenue stream. I like
Yeah.
this.
Yeah. Well, really lucky that me, my friend, we have been launching our campaigns, especially raising awareness for tribal women. So in order to connect with our customer, I have creating this and sell it to my friends. But yeah, from your insightful feedback, I am really appreciated. And yeah, I'm gonna note down something.
Oh, no, I want to hear more about this because easily you can be marketing on TikTok and showing people on Instagram. You can show these pictures. You can open up your own YouTube channel. I actually think that you could create like a
Oh.
mini franchise business out of this and come up with different designs. And you could also have them join a membership for, let's say, um, 500,000 dong a year, $20 American, 500,000. And for that, you give them these new things, you market them, and you keep 10 or 20%. of the sale. So they upload it to your platform and they sell these different things.
Yeah.
And you can call it beauty by, beauty forever. That could be your thing, beauty forever,
Yeah.
by and your name. Lynn
Oh,
Wynn, is that what your last name was?
yes.
Or Win Lynn. So
Yeah.
beauty forever. So
Fine.
there you go. I like this. I hope you're going to go and pursue it. I want all of you who join this program to take everything I'm teaching you and create a business and give it a try. And I just talked to the senior leadership at Vin University about launching a national business plan competition. And of course, we just started launching this program because there are only 3 countries in the world that teach entrepreneurship nationwide to high school students. That is United States, Great Britain, and Israel. No other countries do it. So I want to make Vietnam the 4th country, hence why we're doing this on Sunday mornings. And you're allowed to tell any of your friends, because if they join at any time, I just send them a link to the actual class that they can watch prior classes. And this goes for 6 weeks, and then we start another class teaching essentially the same for 6 weeks. But we want to eventually have a national high school business plan competition because I think that's going to be really powerful for us here in Vietnam. Okay, who else has an idea that they want to share? I love the 2 ideas I've heard so far. It's good. Okay, I can't see your name, but I see you've raised your hand. If you can just come on. The person with this sitting in a swing attached to the tree.
Yeah, I'm Ethelyn. So first of all, can I have the name of the platform that have been developed by the two unions? Can you spell it?
Uh, the which platform are we referring to?
The one that help us to, um, having resources for
Oh
our.
yeah, MindPal, MINDPAL.io.
Okay, thank
Oh,
you.
I'll put it in chat.
Okay, thank you. And so for my idea, I have an idea to create a type of powder that can help filter water, like to help you purify um, dirty water so that you can use it. Um, I feel it's a promising idea because clean water is always in high demand globally and also in my region. Additionally, it could be a new type of product since, to the best of my knowledge, there is currently only one competitor on the market, which is PNG. However, it is sometimes somewhat far-fetched because I don't have enough knowledge about how to create such a product, such as knowledge in chemistry or something like that. But I really want to pursue this idea because I have experienced like a clean water myself. So I understand how difficult it is and I don't want others to suffer from that. So in your opinion, where could I seek help? And if I can find help, could I have to abandon this idea?
So you're saying that you want to help people access clean water no matter where they're at. Is that correct?
Yeah, through a
So
product called
So there are pills out there that have been developed that you put into water and it makes sure the water is drinkable.
yeah,
And there's a few of those companies out there. So you could do a couple things. One is you can explore which companies have that. You can find out if this pill actually exists in Vietnam. If it doesn't, you could start a partnership with the companies that sell them, because I know they're sold in the US, and you can go and resell them in Vietnam. You could even tell them, I'll create a website. All I want is for you guys to provide the product to me, and we can go and test it first to see if there's a market for it. And if there's a market for it, then we can go and sell it. Or if you're saying, I want to help people who can't afford clean water, I want to start a nonprofit in this area. So you can go to the same companies and say to them, maybe they can create a service, maybe they can create a sale like Bombas socks, where for every pair of socks somebody buys, they give a free pair of socks to people who can't afford them, or free pair of shoes if those can't afford them. So maybe you can go to those same companies and ask them to help you and start a nonprofit that provides these pills. I think it's just pills, and they dissolve in the water and they make sure the water is drinkable. And you can be a partner with that. And maybe they even have a nonprofit that's connected to it, and you can extend the nonprofit into Vietnam. So, but I don't think you need to actually create the product since it already exists. The military around the world uses products like this because sometimes they're in the militaries in places where there's water, but it may not be drinkable, or they're afraid that they could get sick from it. So there are products like that. So you don't have to do it, but you can take your idea and move it forward to help people who need it. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, thank you. I'll note it down. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Okay, so I see a hand at the top left corner. You're wearing a headset. Go ahead.
I am planning to start a business in scented glass
You have to speak up because I
candles.
can't hear you.
What? Can you hear me now?
Now, perfect.
Yeah, okay. I am planning to start a business in scented candle because I see it potential. So can you elaborate on the business idea to me?
Okay, so candles are very popular. We have candles in my apartment as well, and I was been at 3 dinners at different people's houses, and what people like to do, light a candle that has a certain scent to it, right? And so you could go and create scents by around, you can create scents related to plants, you can grow scents related to the ocean, scents related to the mountains, and you can also create candles that are part of the legacy of Vietnam's history, like the Forbidden City, in Vietnam in Hue. You can create candles related to different things. You can create candles to what people might remember by walking through a field of sunflowers and seeing if you can capture the smell of that. And you probably have to go to a chemist to help you create these. So you have to find a company that creates smells for candles, and you can create unique candles from this. But before you do that, you can find out who would want these kinds of candles. So you might create a website without making the candles and say, these are different offerings we're having. Which would be your favorite that you'd want to buy? What size do you want to buy? How much you're willing to spend for candles? You can go and look online from candle makers and see what they sell and what the products are. You can create a spreadsheet, or even go into MindPound and say, create a spreadsheet of all the different candles that are sold commercially to people buying them. And they can give you a list of them, where you can see what are the top 25 sellers and can find out what they are. But you can be very creative with candles. And I imagine, because I know a lot of people have sold candles, that the profit margins are probably pretty good in these candles. And you can remind people uh, on TikTok and Instagram about why candles are great. You're having a bad day, you light the candle, it relaxes you. You're stressed. You're having romantic dinner, you can do that. You want to just have an aroma that makes everybody feel good while you're having a meal with your family. You give people all the reasons that candles are good, and recommend types of candles and smells based on what the activity might be. You're ready to propose to someone to get married. Here's the type of candle puts people in the right mood, and you can go and find out online what types of smells connect with different types of experiences. Does that make sense?
Yeah, thank you for addressing my concern.
Yeah, I say go for it. Definitely. And come up with
Okay.
something cool, especially related to your country, that Americans and Americans, foreigners who would come to the country would want to collect them and take them home with them.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Smell of Vietnam. I like it. What else?
you.
Anybody else? I know our hour is up, but I will take any other question that you might have. I thank those of you who have ideas and share them. Thank you so much for sharing them. Yes, Lynn Tran, please, Lynn.
Yeah. So I'm like I want to sell about like stationery stuff in the future. And I think that my first and my signature product might be like a pen, but it's made from bamboo instead of plastic, like the cover. Because I think that pen is something you use daily, and so the consumption is really large, and plastic is harming the environment. So if I can replace it with bamboo, which is like a material that is familiar to Vietnamese, then I can like uh kind of help the environment.
So you talk about bamboo pens, is that what you said?
Yeah.
So I actually got a bamboo pen as a gift from somebody recently. So I think that you would have to go online and find out how many people are selling bamboo pens. What are they selling for? But what is it that you could do would be unique to that bamboo pen? So for instance, you could create a line of bamboo pens that have a saying on the side of them that inspire people. Like you can call them inspirational bamboo pens for people who care about the environment. And then you could create 10, 20, 50 different types of sayings that could be imprinted on the bamboo pen that would be inspiring to people. So I like the idea of the bamboo pen. I like the idea of connecting it with even companies who might buy them and give them away. Like, what if a bank would give away and you would private label it for them where they have the name of Techcom Bank on one side, but something inspirational on the other. And you tell Techcom Bank, we can make them even into collectibles by numbering the number of pens. And they can, when they give the pen to a customer, they can tell them, this pen is also a collectible pen. So
Um,
lots you can do. You can design, you can have great artists design on the pen and make and sell those as like artwork.
oh, okay. I'm thinking about like making their design student friendly because I see other bamboo pens, but the design are still quite basic, and I think it's preferred by adults. So I'm trying to make it like more inclined towards students.
So maybe you get a group of students together and say to them, I'm thinking about doing this. I want to know if you would buy such a pen. And be honest with me, because if you said, when do I ever use pens? I do everything typing on my phone. And if they would, what would the design look like? What would be so cool that you would carry this pen in your backpack all the time, that you would put it out, that you would actually write notes on it or draw with it, whatever, give them ideas about what they could do and find out, because you could love this idea and find that nobody cares. Your target market.
Okay. I guess that's what I have to say today. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. Good. I'm glad. Anybody else before we sign off? Okay. If there's nothing else, I hope you guys have a good rest of your day, and I'll look forward to seeing you next week.
Yeah,
Bye,
thanks.
everybody.
Yeah, see you
Happy
soon.
Sunday.
And feel free to
Happy
share this with your
Sunday.
friends. Feel free to
Yeah.
share it with your friends if they want to join us. You can always share the link, and then we'll send a link to sign up. Take care.
Yeah, okay.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
teacher. Bye bye.
Fasten the mark.